Hello, we have a new moon coming on Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday the 22nd and Thursday the 23rd. New moon in Taurus, and Taurus is also the sign that the disruptor planet Uranus is in. And Uranus, the disruptor, and the moon and the sun make a challenging aspect to Saturn, which is the limiter. And Saturn is in the social sign of Aquarius, the sign that rules groups of people, groups of like-minded others. So there's a really clear message here that given that there'll be a strong drive towards independence and towards activity and movement, and like spring is in the air and like get me out of the house. And with the and just as a side note, there's a positive trine in air signs between Venus and Mars. So yeah, it's important to get out of the house. It's important to get out of the air. But if there is an attempt, or if there's an attempt to try to break the sheltering in place, to break the sort of social isolation because of the COVID-19 virus too soon, it would be disastrous. That's really clear from the astrological aspects. I mean, it's also clear that that it's also important to act when necessary, not to just be. There's a kind of active passivity that is required here, or a passive activity. In any event, there's a blend of the two that is needed. It's necessary not to be so. In every area of life right now, there are huge benefits if we pay less attention to just what it is we want right now that we feel we're not getting, and that makes us tempted to throw some version of a tantrum, or to get all depressed, or think that that it's never going to be better. If we are able to have a more fertile aspect towards it, to see it like giving birth, that it happens in its time, it happens by itself more or less, or it can certainly happen by itself, although it doesn't always, and that true strength involves the ability to listen and to wait and to pay attention to both the voices we want to hear and the voices we don't want to hear, and to find the middle ground between the two, to manage them, manage these forces that would move us in opposite directions. That if we can do that, while we might be temporarily somewhat frustrated, or feel that we're having less success, getting less of what we want right now, we will certainly experience a full blossoming of what we want in the most successful way possible, if we can do that. Otherwise, I mean, if we're focused on what we don't have, what we're not getting, what's not working, and how untenable we find the situation, whatever it is, whether we're talking about continuing the shelter in place, or whether we're talking about some other issue happening in our life, if we choose to focus on everything that we think is not going right, is not the way we want, and that we could potentially feel frustrated or unhappy or fearful or worried about, we will experience a sense of loss. And our feelings will be unpleasant, not necessarily, we will not experience the depth of emotion and the depth of feeling, the depth of connection, the depth of creative and physical and personal and emotional response that's possible right now. We will instead just feel bad. If we can allow ourselves to put aside our need to push for our own agenda, and if we can also find a way to not let others push us around on their agenda, but to find a creative and receptive and feminine approach, an Earth Mother approach, which is appropriate for the sign of Taurus and Earth Day coming up. If we can connect to that sort of Earth Mother energy in ourselves, and the knowledge that spring will come, it will always come, then we'll be fine. We will be fine. because within a few short weeks, there will be a whole new, different period of time, and it will be lovely. If we push too hard to get what we want, and we will want to do that, we're going to be really disappointed. It's not going to make us happy at all. Coming up, it's very important that we get this right now. If both in terms of the COVID-19 and in terms of other issues in our life, if we don't, the potential for damage is great. If we do, there's tremendous potential for success. This is especially true through to the full moon, which is in the at the end of the first week in May. After that, we do have some positive aspects for a while, and then a number of planets go retrograde, so we are once again dealing with some difficult aspects. That may not have to do with the return of the virus. It may have to do with some other social, financial, economic, or other results, things that could be thought of as the results of what's been happening with the COVID-19, but it will not necessarily be a return of the virus. It could be if we don't act correctly now. And how we manage that period of time, what resources we have to manage that period of time, is dependent upon how we go through this period of time. So I urge all of us to pay attention to the positive, the sort of grounded, emotional and receptive quality, and to still get outside, and to allow the time to unfold from a position of true strength rather than the need to force. And if we do that, everything will be great. All right, I will talk to you in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye.